From Sky Fox, from our sister station, Fox 11 Los Angeles. So I do have to say viewer discretion is advised. And we've been listening in on both their on-air and their Facebook Live coverage. The anchors there at Fox 11 LA, they said this is the longest pursuit they have seen in a long time. We have still not learned any information on the suspect, the man behind the wheel. Ooh, that was a very close call. Aside from the fact that he is a domestic assault suspect. He also had a near miss with a pedestrian just moments ago. We've seen the woman in the passenger seat attempt to get out of the car a couple times, and the suspect just pulled her back in, just would not let her get out, despite the fact that she got the door all the way open. So now we are more than 2 hours into this police chase. CHP, that stands for California Highway Patrol Officers, they are trailing extremely closely. They have tried one attempt at a pit maneuver, and they have been told that, hey, when it is safe to do so, stop this guy, do whatever it takes to make this end peacefully. We've seen the suspect drive into a couple drive-thrus, a Wiener Schnitzel, a McDonald's, not actually through the drive-thru, but through the parking lot of the fast food restaurants. And it's been on many freeways, many surface streets. It started in Southgate. It's gone through Anaheim, Stanton, Lakewood, Paramount. It's gone on many freeways, the 605, the 405, the 22, the 105. We've got thousands of people watching right now on the News Now stream, and here's another attempt possibly for a pit maneuver. Again, viewer discretion is advised because this is live right now. This is probably the second closest the officer has gotten to the suspect vehicle, and you can see the woman, it looked like sticking her arm out saying, hey, you know, help me please. And this driver has not encountered the typical Los Angeles area traffic, even though he's gone through some narrow streets. There's been some close calls with some civilians, some pedestrians, some vehicles. Still going more than 2 hours later. Kind of makes you wonder how he's had enough gas to do so, because even Sky Fox in LA has had to go refuel. They went off the air for about 15 minutes and went back. So again, we're going to continue to follow this. Please join us by going to youtube.com/Fox10Phoenix. Back to you guys.
There.
So that's Olympic in East LA.
We're now into the East Los Angeles community.
And this is the first you covered this in East LA, right? First this driver's been in East LA?
First he's been in East LA, yeah. We were in South LA earlier, Southgate, but this is the first time that we've seen him in East Los Angeles. I mean, it is extraordinary, and I think part of the reason that there's so many people are joining us on Facebook right now is that so many communities have been impacted by this guy driving through. By hearing the lights and sirens going right by their house, and hearing all the news choppers and all of that. As we were talking about earlier, it is scary when you're just driving like these folks are, probably trying to get home or go to the grocery store, and all of a sudden this is right behind you, and you kind of don't know what to do.
So Stariel making this comment, unacceptable for any pursuit to go on for multiple hours. I think the big difference in this one is that you have a passenger. It's said to be a domestic violence issue. So if you do a pit maneuver, if you put out a spike strip, what about this passenger? What about the safety of this passenger? That, I think, is probably the big concern. That's what you talked about, as, if I'm right, Alex, earlier with our police specialist, Dennis Zine. That's the big concern?
That is the big concern. And another challenge for officers in this situation, the guy has put down his window, and the female passenger has put down her window too. But okay, here we go. Here we go. Are we going to see a pit maneuver here?
Driving on the wrong side of the road. This driver trying to evade police.
One of our viewers just suggesting that part of the reason he may have gotten so close is try to get a look inside the vehicle, because the windows are tinted illegally. It is hard to find out. Here we go. Hard for police to know exactly what's going on inside of there. This driver has been motioning out the window at some point, so we're not sure if it was a middle finger or what he was doing towards the choppers and towards the officers behind. CHP definitely getting more aggressive in this pursuit and taking it to another level here.
So this pursuit has been covered here on Fox 11 on our newscast since the 5 o'clock hour. We are now coming up on 8 p.m. as we continue to bring this coverage to you on our Facebook Live. A lot of people commenting on the domestic violence issue, and a lot of people feeling they can relate to the fear of something like that or have been tied to a situation like that, and certainly that gives everyone great concern. All right, coming up here on another red light, this car, okay, like he's been doing all along, crossing yellow lines. Garfield right there, you see, at Olympic, and going through yet another red light.
We're still in East LA.
In East LA, driving on the wrong side of the road. Now we're picking up speeds dramatically as the CHP officer stays right with this guy.
Yeah, David, you make a good point about the safety of pedestrians and other civilians. With this rush hour situation being behind us now, you can see the roads have been much more open. Police have called off pursuits in the past, but also our police specialist, Dennis Zine, has said you can't let...
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
This could be... There's our pit maneuver looked into a road, didn't quite work, didn't quite take.
Perhaps the speeds they're rather fast for...
perhaps those... Yeah. It looked like the differentiation between the newer street paving and the older street paving may have hurt them there. But you wonder if the CHP officer was able to damage the vehicle in any way from that. The vehicle continues to drive on. I mean, this is quite a performance from this Honda Accord, to be honest, in terms of fuel mileage and in terms of its ability to maneuver.
So a lot of you are commenting on the wide open roads at this hour. Well, keep in mind it is, coming up on 8 o'clock, but you had a lot more traffic earlier during the rush hour. Am I right, Alex, as you were covering this on both surface streets and freeways? Much more traffic earlier, right?
More, but I would certainly say this was less traffic than we would see on a normal Wednesday night in terms of rush hour. Some of that may be, the spring break nature of this week for a lot of people. Okay, so now we're making a turn. We're now in the community of Montebello, yet another community now impacted by this 2-hour-plus pursuit. This appears to be a more wide-open stretch. Could we see another attempt at a pit maneuver? The CHP officer picking up speed. Worried perhaps about that intersection right there. Mm-hmm. If you notice, the CHP officers tend to stop at the intersections to make sure they don't hit anybody while this driver just speeds through them.
Devora asking if police are perhaps trying to alert pedestrians on the street or making some kind of announcement as they go through here. I don't see a lot of pedestrians on the street at this hour. Again, coming up on 8 o'clock.
Here could be another pit maneuver. Now you can see that the driver is sensing that a pit maneuver is coming, trying to get away from it, driving on the other side of the street to get away from it.
With a median there.
Let's hope there's no other oncoming traffic. Doesn't look like it. I don't know if that was a red light camera. So in addition to everything else, he may be getting a bill in the mail. just saying that. So now we are dealing with the issue that camera brings up the issue that the sun has gone down. And so now we're going to be dealing with light issues. I'm probably going to start getting a police light on from the chopper on that vehicle.
And also, we've seen them put out a spike strip in the past. This driver hasn't gone in what you might call a circular type of motion, an area that is repetitive, or like narrow side streets or narrow streets that they could get that spike strip out there. We're now in the Montebello area. We've been in the East LA area, been in Southgate, Norwalk. You said even Huntington Beach?
Huntington Beach, Anaheim, Stanton. I mean, this is, in terms of a pursuit, as wide an area as we've seen in some time. Mm-hmm. So many different communities that really have no connection to each other involved in this, which would lead you to believe that this guy's just kind of driving all over the place, somewhat wildly.
Thank you, Andy, for your perspective on. Okay, now we have some traffic there. Boy, he was going at a high rate of speed there past those cars that were stopped apparently at a light. That to me was a bit scary. There have been no accidents, Alex, during this whole pursuit?
As far as we can tell, no accidents, which is pretty extraordinary given the way that this guy's driving. driving, although it does appear that he is coherent enough to recognize a pedestrian, to recognize traffic problems, and he has avoided some situations that could have been dangerous for other people. So now the police picking up speed here. Could we see another now driving by a bus? Again, a pit maneuver could endanger the female suspect, could endanger other drivers nearby, but it also could be the key to finally ending this. At some point, this car's got to run out of gas.
I like what Kimberly had to say. Kudos to the police for proceeding carefully. You know, we've seen that through those intersections there. The concern obviously is a female passenger there, a domestic violence situation. So it really does change the game when it comes to bringing a pursuit like this to an end.
So we continue to follow a suspect that is wanted for some sort of domestic violence. There is a female passenger in the front seat of the car, a male driver who has been driving for several hours now through the streets of Los Angeles and Orange counties.
Cindy noting, I bet the girl is so scared. I was just kind of thinking what the conversation might be in that vehicle with this suspect driving for more than, what, we're coming up on 3 hours at some point. A 3-hour pursuit here with police behind them, several attempts at a pit maneuver. I can't imagine what the talk is inside that vehicle. A dangerous move there as that car goes around another vehicle. Michelle, what you said, courage.
So now we start seeing, as we see dusk, and we start to see that the police helicopters' light take effect, and we start seeing those lights and sirens take effect more. Now we're approaching an intersection where there is traffic. So what's going to happen here? He stops, avoids the traffic, and then keeps going. But
you know, Alex, I'm wondering, this was not a report of a stolen car in any way, was it?
We don't have a report of a stolen car, but we don't know if whose car this is. If this is his car, if this is her car. We are now back in East Los Angeles.
So to answer what Ryan is asking about, if police know who this suspect is, they're going to get him at some point. So the question is, if they know it's domestic violence, my question is, how do they know that? Where do they get that information? And do they know whom they're dealing with?
Right. Did she call? Did somebody else call? There's still a lot of unanswered questions when it comes to that.
Rosie, I don't think there's any word of kids in the car. Am I right, Alex? You've been on this for a couple of hours.
We have not seen that, and we have not seen evidence of that. The actions of this guy certainly jive with the concept of a domestic violence situation.
And Gabby brings up the concern that, you know, what happens when this does come to an end with this suspect and this domestic violence situation and a woman in the vehicle. There are great concerns for her safety when this does come to an end.
Yeah.
And that's why they're proceeding with such caution. And I also think that police officers have to be, you know, really on alert, because they're going to have to handle this in a certain way with this suspect to see how he reacts when they stop the car.
So we're now 2.5 hours into this pursuit, a pursuit that started before 5:20 tonight and is now still going as we are at 7:53, approaching the 8 o'clock hour.
Okay, Robert, thank you for your information. Let's see. A lot of people commenting on how they've stepped away from this coverage, done whatever they had to do for a little bit, and came back surprised to see the pursuit still on. I came in from a community event. I was surprised to hear you all say you've been on it for 2 hours, coming up on, 3 hours now?
Well, and we had a situation where our chopper had to go down to fuel. We figured, well, that'd still be the end of it. It fuels, gets back up, finds it again, and it's still going, and we've been on for another hour. So we are now in the Monterey Park Park community, which of course is the home, or was the longtime home of the LA Sheriff's Department. Now they're based in Los Angeles, but the California Highway Patrol is leading the way and now has some wide open space here. We've seen one unsuccessful pit maneuver, at least so far. One wonders if they're about to try a second one here. Whenever this driver senses that a pit maneuver is about to come, he does speed up and seems to get away from the CHP.
Tracy, to answer your question, I picked up this pursuit around 7:30, so I'm having Alex bring me up to speed. I had not been covering it. I had been at a community event, so I'm still getting some of the information. Some of you are giving us information on the domestic violence nature of this, so I'm just wanting to confirm that.
Go. There's some perspective from John and his evening tonight. Meanwhile, I've been on the air the entire time with this pursuit, which continues. We have seen some moments of real tension in this as this driver continues to evade police. Now it looks like a busy intersection. This is where things get the most dangerous. The driver not stopping, continuing to evade.
Adrienne, thank you. I appreciate your thoughts. Don, yes, we're trying to give you as much information as possible, yet also not go beyond that as we try to cover this pursuit. So a lot of it is just based on observation because police haven't released a lot of information on this yet. So we're doing the best we can with the information we have as we observe this with you all.
So there we go. The window is back down. You can see that female passenger in the side there. It looks like her legs are back up.
Getting darker out there, obviously. You started this pursuit when it was broad daylight, on freeways, on surface streets. Was this always a CHP pursuit?
No, started with Southgate taking the lead for a while. CHP took over about maybe an hour ago once it was on the freeway. There, as Dennis Zine, our police specialist, pointed out, CHP, California Highway Patrol, has the...
All right, everybody. Again, my name is Pilar Arias. We normally cut the News Now stream at 8 p.m. Arizona time. That is not going to be the case tonight. We are going to see this chase through in its entirety. So, again, we are thankful for our sister station, Fox 11 Los Angeles' Sky Fox. We're going to continue to listen in, to watch in as long as we can. There's currently 8,500 of you here with us. But, again, my name is Pilar Arias. I'm signing off for the evening. The stream is not ending. So stick with us. Please like, share, subscribe. Let your friends, your family, your coworkers, your neighbors know that when long police chases like this happen, News Now has got you covered.
Kind of a nice advertisement for the fuel efficiency of the Honda Accord. You wonder if it's maybe a hybrid version too, which would increase that even more in terms of the fuel efficiency.
Westbound Garvey here. Okay. Ramona Boulevard now. All right.
We're in this Alhambra, near the I-10 East.
CHP tends to be the agency that covers this on freeways. We've been now on surface streets for a bit of time here. So wondering if another agency would pick this up. I'm sorry, refresh my memory. Who started this pursuit?
Southgate Police.
PD? All right.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming they would be the arresting agency, that the suspect would be turned over to Southgate?
Maybe. I mean, what we don't know is exactly what the original crime was. You know, there's still a lot of questions that we will have, and I think police will be a lot more willing to answer some of them once this hopefully comes to a safe conclusion and that victim is, you know, free from this situation.
And then because it's becoming nightfall, this gets even more dangerous for law enforcement when this does come to a close. It's harder to see the suspect's hands, harder to see situations that they have to deal with to bring this to a safe ending here. I'm wondering if a local jurisdiction would pick this back up, being that it's been on surface streets for so long, or because the person keeps going back and forth, freeways, surface, back to surface streets, will the CHP stay with it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he hadn't been in one local jurisdiction for very long. He seems to keep moving through so many of them. We are now in the East Los Angeles area once again. And we are now getting onto another freeway, as you mentioned, Christine. Here we go, back onto a freeway, back about to pick up the speeds once again. We are moving on to the 10 in East LA, eastbound 10.
Hi, DG. Thanks for your thoughts on us keeping this coverage up. And hi, Reagan, to you as well. Reagan's noting that this is an everyday occurrence in Los Angeles.
Not quite
However, right, a pursuit that's lasted over 2 hours. That's not the everyday pursuit, nor is a domestic violence situation with a female passenger in the car an everyday pursuit. But
in 20 minutes, we will be approaching 3 hours for this pursuit.
Thanks, Reagan, for being on the pursuit and watching our coverage with us. Justin, you're talking about everyone's safety. I think that the later it gets at night, the concern is obviously it being dark outside, but then also you have fewer pedestrians on the streets, you have fewer cars out on the streets and on the freeways. So on that note, it's just a little bit safer for law enforcement on that note.
Layla pointing out on our Facebook page how amazing it has been to see so much light traffic on the streets of Los Angeles, and how that has helped impact this pursuit, perhaps made it easier for this guy to continue to get away for close to 3 hours now, and that is certainly something that we've been noticing as well. Yes, it is, and as Shar is mentioning, it is almost Empire time. For those of you that enjoy a two-screen experience, Jussie Smollett's final episode of Empire is going to be airing on Fox 11 starting right now, and we will continue to broadcast this on the Fox 11 Los Angeles Facebook page and on foxla.com/live.
Manny noting the work of dispatchers, saying they have to type everything up. I'm sure they're exhausted. All right, imagine also, Manny, the police report and how much they have to document as they document every move, every turn, every, violation. Violation right there, driving in the wrong lane.
Driving on the wrong side of the road. Yeah, I mean, they will have evidence from every police from a news helicopter in Los Angeles to use as evidence in a potential prosecution against this suspect.
Sherry asking if there's only one headlight on the car. It's hard for me to tell from this vantage point. Oscar, can you tell if the headlights are working on the car? Could you tell?
I can't see that they're on.
Yeah, it's hard to see. It looks pretty dark. Oh, maybe just the left one is on. It's hard to see from this perspective, this angle.
And you wonder if what kind of damage this car may have sustained between running into a fence earlier and also police attempting, or CHP attempting, to pit maneuver the car. The front end left side damage happened, I think, during the fence, and the back end right end damage might have happened during the pit maneuver attempt.
Jason, you've been watching from Pennsylvania. I'm always amazed that people find these pursuits and find this coverage in parts all over the world. Somebody mentioning it's like 2, 3 in the morning from where they're. All right, Kevin Dakumi, our reporter, our contributor to, says there's no lights. So Kevin, what is this light you're seeing here? If Kevin, you can answer that question, because Kevin's saying no lights. Okay, Jamie, you're saying one functioning headlight. I gotcha.
One thing a lot of our viewers are saying is that they believe that this suspect may have been trying to push the suspect out of the vehicle earlier. That is not the way that I saw it, but I was seeing it in not a great monitor and saw it quickly and haven't been able to watch it back. So that is very much possible that he was trying to push her out. He has been angry at her, yelling at her.
With a parking light.
Short. Whoa! Oh, that was just a change in the shot. Yeah, although clearly these roads are being illuminated by the police helicopter ahead.
So a lot of folks are noticing or commenting about when the driver hit the fence, what kind of damage was done to the car or perhaps the lights. Alex, paint a picture for us for those who weren't watching, and even for myself because I was coming into work.
Now we're transitioning onto another freeway.
Talk about him hitting the fence there. What was that like?
So he pulls into this side street, this alley. It looks like he's completely out of space. He's got nowhere to go. He's boxed in. There's a chain link fence in front of him, and then he just drives through it. And the chain link fence seemed to hit mostly on the front left side of the vehicle, which is where the headlight may have been damaged. And he just kept going. And then nearby that chain link fence was a park full of people out for the evening, and he just drove through the park, through trees and other things, and then got back onto another road.
Per our Kevin Takumi, eastbound 60 freeway here, going at a high rate of speed, lit up there by that helicopter night sun. So, Alex, when he hit that fence, was there a thought that, okay, this pursuit's coming to an end right now?
Oh, yeah.
It's over?
Well, it looked like he was coming to an end because he was boxed in and there was a fence there. And he just said, I'm going to go through it. I mean, there's been a few moments where it looked like this was going to end. Headlights are off. Kevin from Ontario, Canada, thanks for watching us from there. If this guy crashes with her feet on the dash like that, the airbag will push her knees. That's what I was thinking as well. How dangerous a position she was sitting in earlier. We don't know if she's in that position right now.
Sandra, thank you for the perspective. Sandra pointing out that if you subscribe to local Fox affiliates wherever you are across the country, that this might pop up on their feed. That could be one way. Thanks, Sandra. That's interesting. I hadn't thought about that.
Well, thank you for joining us in Los Angeles. My name is Alex Michelson. If you don't usually watch us, I'm with Christine Devine. We anchor the Fox 11 10 o'clock news here in Los Angeles.
And 5 o'clock.
And 5
I was
o'clock
off it
news.
today. You were on it.
Yes.
You've been on this for hours.
Been working a long time at this, and we appreciate your viewership, and we appreciate if you'll join us on TV as well tonight. So we are now, what time is it now? 8:06?
Yeah. You picked it up at what time?
We picked it up at 5:25 on the air. There she is. Okay, we're getting another good look at her feet on the dashboard.
Look at that. Look at what's...
And there's a struggle. Wow. There's a struggle going on. It looks like they may be physically fighting in the car as he drives at 64 miles an hour on the freeway. Look at that.
Boy, that is just so scary.
Wow. A physical struggle there, which you can see through the lights. The lights of this vehicle are not on as it drives. It is amazing that this guy has been able to do all of the things that he's been able to do while at the same time engaging in this sort of battle with this woman. Just from a driving perspective. Now we're at 80 miles an hour. We're on the 60 eastbound. We're in Monterey Park, and things are getting more dangerous.
Boy, the fact that they're going at this high rate of speed, I can't imagine the conversation in that vehicle at this time. You see again her legs still up. It's hard to tell what that struggle was about. To be a fly on the wall inside that vehicle, to know what's going on. Is she asking him to pull over, begging him to pull over? We just don't know. Police not revealing anything yet to us about the suspect, who he is or who she is. I'm hoping they know who they are and have some good leads on that. 60 eastbound right now at Rosemead. We're in in the Montebello area. We've been in the Montebello area for some time, Rosemead now. On the surface street.
We're now approaching 100 miles an hour. This is the fastest that we've been throughout this in nearly 3 hours in terms of the pursuit. Several of our viewers are commenting, asking questions about if there's a child in the back or if this woman may be pregnant. We don't know the answer to either of those things. We do not have any official report from there being a child in the back, but as you can see, that back window is very darkly tinted and has never come down. So we have not gotten a good look at that vehicle. We also don't have a close enough view of her to determine whether she may be pregnant.
Confirm that speed for me. How fast is this driver going? 98 miles per hour with this passenger in the vehicle, coming up on the 605 freeway soon. Okay, slowing down here now to, well, 80 miles per hour here. The only, I thank goodness it is open in a way that perhaps it's safer that it's open. But then if there was more traffic to slow down the vehicle, if he was boxed in, perhaps it would help bring it to a close. Really dangerous.
Yeah.
Somebody commenting that the woman with her legs up looks like she's relaxed. I don't know if there's anything relaxing at all about being in a 2.5 hour pursuit.
And it looks like being beaten during it. I mean, there was clear verbal abuse happening earlier, but what we just saw about 5 minutes ago and what we saw an hour and a half ago, it looked like there was some sort of physical fight going on in that car.
It still looks like some agitation there.
Yeah.
Coming up on 3 hours now. Boy, this is really, honestly, the longest pursuit I've seen us on. Boy, I can't even remember a longer pursuit where we've been on the air covering. I mean, sometimes we've had a driver drive towards the Mexico border.
Or a driver drive up north towards Bakersfield, and those go a long time, but then we often lose them because our chopper can't fly up there. This is as long a pursuit as we've had that stayed in our viewing market the entire time.
I'm just using the word conversation for lack of a better term. I don't know what's being discussed in this vehicle. And what he's trying to do, that's just perspective. We don't know. He's been continuing the pursuit for 3 hours now. Julie talking about the tinted windows.
Well, thank you all for watching as well. And Granny, my name's Alex Michelson, along with the fabulous Miss Christine Devine. You have to wonder. I mean, the moment that you really fear about with this is, if this stops, if there is a pit maneuver, if he runs out of gas, is this guy armed? Is there somebody else in the back seat? What is the condition physically of this woman, and what is he going to do to her? How do you get that woman safely out of the vehicle?
Yeah.
Those are some of the big questions that we've now had for going on 3 hours.
All right, look at the moves here during a little bit of traffic, not overly heavy traffic. You were talking about the lengthy pursuits. Our Kevin Takumi telling us that back in the day, he did cover a pursuit all the way to Bakersfield.
Yeah. I can remember those, and I remember the night that Dan Cohen's last night with you. You guys were on the air for what, until 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning with the pursuit.
Yeah.
And that started in the 10 o'clock hour.
That's right.
So that was a several-hour pursuit as well.
Thanks, Kevin. Hacienda Heights area.
Yeah, so they're eastbound 60.
Eastbound 60. Yeah, Sam, I'm not sure. It's hard to see, what she's exactly wearing. It's just too hard for me to guess, and at this point would be just a guess.
So we're in the San Gabriel Valley now in the eastbound 60. Another part of our market that is now engaged in a pursuit that has included East Los Angeles, South Los Angeles, Northern Orange County, Huntington Beach, Long Beach, so many different communities impacted by this pursuit.
Yeah, Meg, I agree with Meg. We can't speculate why the driver, or so the passenger, is sitting the way she's sitting, legs up, legs down. I mean, none of us are in this situation. A 3-hour pursuit on freeways, surface streets, being pursued by a police helicopter, CHP vehicles behind you. I mean, it would be just a guess for any of us to guess why the legs are up, the legs are down. It's just a guess.
Yeah, so now we're going.
Yeah, Chrissy, we have had the chopper able to zoom in just a little bit there. That's where we really saw that struggle inside the car.
Yeah, the comments that all of you
very true
are saying is that it appears that so much concern for this female.
You can see that window still open. It's a cool night, at least here on the west side. It was very cool tonight and very overcast. Somebody talked about not running AC to save gas, but I can tell you on the west side, there'll be no need for AC tonight.
Andrew saying that he's watching from northern Georgia, and he's now finished 3 loads of laundry during the 3 hours of this pursuit. We are now approaching the 3-hour mark that this has been continuing. A domestic violence suspect with a potential, certainly looks like a victim of domestic violence that we have noticed ourselves in the passenger seat, now driving quickly on the freeway. At some points, he's approached 98 miles an hour. He's driven through a fence. He's driven on sidewalks. He's driven in every which way to get away from law enforcement. CHP leading the pursuit now after several agencies were involved earlier.
Thank you, Kevin Takumi, for giving us the updates at the information 60 freeway coming up on the 57 interchange. This has not been an area where you've seen this pursuit earlier tonight, correct,
No.
Alex? You haven't been this far east.
No.
Okay.
So there you see, get a good look at the, looks like, is that a sheriff's helicopter?
Looks like it.
Looks like a sheriff's logo there, putting the light on that. Our chopper trying not to get in the way of the law enforcement vehicle there. And now you see right there a CHP officer ahead of the vehicle. Is this,
you're asking, is this intentional, an intentional move by law enforcement?
Right.
Or did this CHP officer just happen to be at this spot?
And you're nervous for these drivers that are nearby. And you look, the CHP looking like he's trying to box him in.
Is that the sheriff?
And you wonder, you got to, if it is sheriff, if that air helicopter that we were just in was coordinating with that driver. So the speed really picking up here as we continue on the freeway. Now we're getting off the freeway, going back onto side streets. Will he continue to take this off ramp? Yes. About to make a left turn out of this.
Phil Ramos asking me a question. Have I ever seen the after stories of these chases? Have we? Whoa.
No, Gallus, we're now in Roland Heights. Yeah. Okay.
Have we followed up? Well, we had a pursuit a couple of weeks ago where, if you guys might remember, it was a maintenance truck that was stolen. Okay, weaving in and out of traffic
here we go.
here.
God,
Okay.
amazing
Tight
how
traffic
this guy has been able to avoid hitting anything.
Through that red light. So I was saying we had a maintenance truck that was stolen. That crashed.
Here we go into another
parking lot.
He's used these parking lots as a way to get away from officers. He did this with a McDonald's drive-through. He did this. Parking.
Parking. Is he going to run?
Getting out.
He's going to run.
Getting out. Okay, now we got a pursuit. We're now following this guy. Where are we right now?
We were near the 57 and the 60. All right, people, this is a very commercial area. You have to wonder if the
People are
suspect is
there. You
running
wonder if he's
into
going
a
to
store.
a store, which could be a barricade situation.
Yeah.
And we also never saw the woman get out. There were a 99-cent store.
People
Look at
running.
people
Must have run
leaving, trying to
inside
get
there.
out of there.
Oh my
Officers
gosh.
saying, "Get out of the." Oh my
gosh. All right, so
wow. Look at the
Boy.
fear in these people's faces as they're now being forced to leave this 99 cents. Look, a little girl there.
look at the far back there. People fleeing with a
People with
grocery
a grocery cart.
Just
wow.
get out of the way, find safety.
So you wonder if this guy's armed. We did not see evidence of him holding a gun, but you never know what was inside there. You can imagine the highway patrol officers yelling at everybody to get out of there. Have we been able to see the passenger door of that car is open, which leads you to believe possibly the female got out of there safely? We don't know that. Our camera didn't get to see it.
That store was very crowded at this hour, 8:20 p.m. here in Los Angeles. Look at the amount of people coming out of that store, that 99-cent store. Boy. Okay, look at law enforcement there below asking them to clear that store. All right, so obviously, people, they're at the store after work, after school. Probably it closes maybe 9 o'clock, so people getting their last minute shopping done. People telling them to get, oh gosh, still more people in the store.
Everybody saying, get out, go, come out now. This looks like a gentleman maybe with a cane. May not be easy for him to
An
move.
employee there. Okay, law enforcement going in. You have to appreciate the job of law enforcement here. Everybody else exiting, and they go in.
This older gentleman,
he needs to keep moving out of the
seems
way.
a bit confused.
Yeah.
Okay, now they're going through the aisles of this 99-cent store. And we don't know if he was able. It's possible he got out the back.
Yeah. Al, I can't finish the story right now about the past chase because this is a pretty big development here where you finally have this pursuit that has come to an end here. This is the spot where the passenger was in that vehicle. Police, though, were concentrating on the driver and thinking about all of the customers inside that store. So we'll focus on that right now to try to see if they can bring this to a close.
There are two possibilities.
Okay. In there or not in there?
Well, those are the two possibilities.
Sorry.
The other possibility is it possible that he grabbed some clothes from in there or something and then ran out the store?
That quick?
I mean,
could he have escaped with everybody else?
I mean, there was all that chaos, right? All those people.
I suppose that could happen.
I mean, it's unlikely, but
Yeah.
It's not like there was much of a suspect description of him at that point. I mean, it was our first look at him.
And I wasn't trying to make a joke. I was trying to say in or out. Could there be a back door?
Is there a back door? Because they're now going to go row by row and try to clear this store looking for this guy, unless he happens to be hanging out somewhere.
Yeah, Michelle, I agree with you. There were police cars in the back as well. So who knows? Gosh, they're walking out rather calmly. Are they thinking that perhaps he's not inside that store there?
Or did they apprehend him? I mean, did they take him into custody? What I want to know is what happened to that woman.
Yeah.
We haven't seen her. So we have, just from an operational perspective, we do have our news crews now headed to this 99-cent store to try to give us some perspective on the ground, to try to see if we can, talk to some of those people and to try to, so now we're looking at that vehicle. And is she still in the front seat?
I can't tell. Hard to tell. All right. So, wait.
Okay, there he is.
Got him. They got him. All right.
The suspect is now in custody. It is a peaceful end to a wild pursuit. We are now over 3 hours since this began, and it appears that the suspect is in custody. Now we go back to the car. Now we're going to get a look in the back seat of that car. People were wondering if there were kids or other people in the back seat. We're about to have that answer.
The question you bring up, Alex, is where is that woman? Perhaps she got to safety somehow. Did she run? We just don't know. If I had been in a 3-hour pursuit in that car, I might want to get away from the car myself.
Yeah.
But we don't know. It is just a guess now. So obviously they're looking at that car, perhaps trying to get some kind of information.
Is she still in the front seat?
Yeah, this angle, I can't tell.
I mean, they're certainly taking a long time there.
People watch these pursuits and they ask how many times do they get away. This was a long pursuit with a lot of law enforcement.